So after so many debates and fights on that, who is greater, men or women? Well, obviously, that's a trigger question, and um, no one is greater, obviously. But it's in our society, it's still something that is growing. But we need to try to understand, that the source of this debate, the source of men's right and women's right, and and all those movements comes from something much deeper. And I'm gonna ask you, a few questions. We try to think very fast as we go, but if I will ask you, who is greater, God or His creation? You will think to say that God is probably greater than the creation, but we know the creation is from God and it's perfect. So is one greater than the other, really? If I ask you, are Jews and non-Jews greater? So some people might think, oh, Jews are greater because, look, they have the Torah, they have the light into the nations. I mean, you look at the world today, it doesn't seem necessary that the Jews are greater. Maybe in some areas, but is greater appropriate word to compare the two? We know non-Jews are much holier, much, closer to God than many Jews. What if I ask you, who is greater, parents or kids? See, some kids became greater than parents, or maybe what is greater? Parents should want the kids to be greater than them, don't they? So if God is our Father, shouldn't we want His creation to be greater than Him? Okay, those are all very deep philosophical things to ponder. What's greater, day or night? This is a bit, I put that there to touch around different levels. Now let me ask you, who is greater? What's greater, spirituality or physicality? Most people will say spirituality because it's beyond, it's spiritual, it's superpowers. The physicality, you cannot have children without physicality. You cannot, do commandments without physicality. So it will appear that perhaps, and that connects to what's greater, the soul of the body. Now the soul needs the body to be in this world, and the body cannot function without the soul. So is one greater than the other? And now to kind of put the things to complete clarity, what's greater? Is your brain greater than your heart? Is your brain greater than your heart? Or is your right hand greater than your left hand? Right? So, well, I guess it depends if you're lefty or righty. So we see that all those questions really seems to be the same, but when we go straight to, say, oh, God and His creation, or spirituality or physicality, it seems like there's a clear difference. However, I wouldn't be so sure. Everything is within everything. Everything exists within God's consciousness. We're like a puff dream of God's imagination. So everything is within everything. In Kabbalah, everything, all the spheres or all the worlds are like an onion, layers upon layers, all connected. But the example I like the most to show that the word greater doesn't fit, or the word better, those words should be banned, right? Is with the brain and the heart. And the brain and the heart, really, it's in Judaism, say the brain corresponds more to the man and the heart more to the woman. If we remember, the woman came out of the man, right? The woman came out of the man, therefore she is part of the man, and the man is part of the woman, or at least the woman has part of the man in her. So therefore, they both from the same being, meaning at the end, the man and woman are going to be one being again. There's not going to be man and woman. They're going to be back together. So is the one greater than the other? No. At the end, they all have some unique characteristic. That's really some unique functions. And it's the same thing with Jews and non-Jews, right? If we start with everything started with Adam and Eve, right? So Eve was from Adam, and then Jews came out of non-Jews, right? So it's all connected, and kids come out of the parents, from inside the parents, and creation comes outside of God Himself, and physicality was born out of spirituality. So we realize that at the end, the way we judge, the way we look at the world, the moment we compare, the moment we start to say it's not fair, the moment we start to say, oh, that person is greater than me, it's already completely misunderstanding our position. The moment we are clear and we know our unique purpose and function in this world, then there's no more jealousy, there's no more better or greater. The only thing you can be greater than is yourself. I want to be greater than myself, meaning that myself and my state, because we cannot compare ourselves to anyone, because anyone is different, with a different situation, different characteristic, different parents, different country, different government. Nobody can be judged the same. If we wanted to be judged the same and say one is greater than the other, we will all have to be all the same, basically, like robots. All the same parents, all the same education, all the same influence, all the same food. And we see that there's no two people the same. Even twins have their own unique thing. So they have the same parents, but they don't always have the same school, and they don't always, but it's clear that they are the most likely who could technically say, yeah, one is greater than the other, because they went exactly through the same exact situation. However, they have two different souls, and they have two different uniqueness, and therefore they're going to have each one their own unique quality. And therefore, because each one, if God give me strength with my right hand, then that's God who gave me strength with my right hand. It doesn't make my left hand weaker, or meaning my right hand greater. It makes it more unique with its own unique mission of my right hand greater. So God makes one human being more wealthy, stronger, more beautiful, more athletic, more intelligent. Okay, so it doesn't mean He wants that person to be greater than you. It means that person has a unique mission, and therefore it gives its unique tools, unique weapons, unique qualities for it to do its mission. The moment we use our unique trait and quality to put others down and to make ourselves feel better about ourselves compared to others, then we already misunderstand the whole message. So we need even a generation where everybody is depressed because nobody thinks like good enough about himself, and usually is in comparison to others. Oh, look, those people that have money. Oh, I'm a failure. All those people are so smart. I'm a failure. Well, yeah, you can think like that, and then you just lose grip of your true potential. You don't try to do anything because you compare yourself always to others, which technically should be impossible. So really, Jews are not better than non-Jews. God is not better than creation. Men are not better than women. Parents are not better than kids. Day is not greater than night. Spirituality is not better than physicality or materiality. Brain is not greater than heart. My right hand is not greater than my left hand. All is one. The whole message of Judaism, what Judaism is teaching, is that everything is one. Everything is connected. Everything needs each other. Every part belongs to the other parts. And therefore, that's why it says the world of love in Judaism, the highest world, the world of Atzilut, Yud Ke Vav Ke, is the world of emanation is the world of love. That's why it's called, says the Rishis Chachma in the Gates of Love, Shaya Hava. So we have to understand that this is the reason why at the end of time, in Olam Haba, in Kabbalah, it says that there will be no more Israel and the nations. Everybody will become Israel. Israel will contain all the people who, basically the same way that men and women will be back together when we'll be on a spiritual level, we'll be back together face to face, just like in Gan Eden. The level of Gan Eden, we try to go back to Adam and Eve. Adam and Eve were one. It was not ideal that they were separated. They were separated because they didn't understand how they were supposed to be one with God. So therefore, they're going to have to become one again. So hermaphrodite, male and female. Every human being is going to be male and female, like brain and heart. It won't be like, so there will be no more, so that idea of competition, or it's you against me, or like, we complete each other. I need you, you need me. The Jews need the non-Jews need the Jews. God needs his creation needs God. Man needs women, women needs men. Parents need kids, kids need parents. Day needs night, night needs day. Spirituality needs physicality, physicality needs spirituality. The brain needs the heart needs the brain. My right hand needs my left hand. So everything in creation, right, is connected. So at the end, it's all going to be Israel, because Israel and the nations are like husband and wife, are like Adam and Eve. And therefore, they're going to need to be united at the end of time, just like the light goes through water and makes a rainbow. So too, the light of Israel makes the 70 nations the rainbow of the world. So the Jews are the light into the nation, and nation express that light in 70 different forms, in 70 qualities. But really, eventually, that rainbow is going to go back to its source, to its light. The 70 nations are going to go back to Israel. Israel, again, is not, it's Adam, right? And Eve is expressing that beauty of that light of Adam. But Eve was part of Adam. Again, Adam was not Adam, who is really Adam and Eve, right? So the first being was hermaphrodite. He contains both, and he was not able to express himself in the way that was supposed. He was only one-sided. He was only male energy. He was not taking care of his female energy. So now there's going to need to go back to that level. The reason why, meaning but not back to that level, there's a need to awaken the female level, and that's why we're coming on the end of time, which brings us back to the beginning, to elevate the female energy. And that's why this feminist movement is very strong nowadays, and we're going to see the rise of the power of the women. It says B'zchut Nashim Tzidkaniot, in the merit of the holy, sage, wise women, we're going to be saved. And the main power of Moshiach will be his wife. We have to understand that we have to awaken our feminine power in ourselves. Every man and woman needs to awaken the feminine power. Feminine power means to learn to, in Kabbalah, the woman is represented by Gvura, strength. The strength to put boundaries where necessary, the strength to bring the potential to reality, to learn to direct the potential in a way that it builds up. The woman is connected to building, to Bina. Nothing gets built without a woman. No family, no children, no life. So the woman represents that ability to build, to have foundations, to create a structure, the strength to direct the energy and the potential, and the ability to contain the emotions, to feel the emotions on others, to contain, to understand, to reflect, to have empathy on the other. It means to be more emotional. It means to be more sensitive. It means to be pay attention more to the details, and not stay just in the big picture. That's the power of the woman that everybody, men and women, needs to awaken in themselves. And if we do that, then we can embrace the male. Then the male will be able to be a good male, because there's a good female. The male has been misusing the female energy for the past 5,000 years, and now we need to, well, more 5,000 years, 5,782 years. So we're coming close to the end, and this needs to be rebalanced until this, not the woman greater, not the man greater, until they understand they need each other. So we have to kind of take greater and better and all the word with ER out of our vocabulary, because this brings comparison. Couples look at the other couples, say, oh, look how they're so happy, oh, look how they're so miserable, and say, why you don't do like him, or why you don't do like her, right? And that doesn't work because you're not the same. So there are certain things, yes, you can learn from, but you're all different. So each one has to find its own unique relationship, in own unique way to be balanced and in harmony. You shouldn't also, the danger is you also to want the other one to be like you. You want the non-Jews to be Jewish, or Jews to be non-Jews, or you want creation to become God, or God to become creation, or you want men to become women, or women to become men, or day to become night, or night become day, or spirituality to become physical, physical to become spirituality. You want your brain to become your heart, or your heart to become your brain. You want your right hand to become your left hand, left hand to become your right hand. So we have to understand our individuality, its own uniqueness. We don't want the other one to become us, or us to become the other. Each one has to stay two distinct entities, and we need to fuse as one, but keeping our individuality. So that's the end of time. We're going to have that nation Israel, which incorporates the Jews and the non-Jews, who together have worked to become God's spouse. And we're going to have only God. The Jewish people are going to be, not the Jewish people, Israel, which represents humanity, which represents Adam in his perfect form, will become the spouse of God. We're going to be one with God, just like male, female, Adam and Eve becoming one again. And that's why it says in Olam Haba, our body and our soul will be one together. It'd be so much one that you wouldn't be able to differentiate the body so much from the soul, because the body will be so spiritual. And that's, by the way, a hint to the idea that the moon, the light of the moon got diminished, and then it will go back, become as light as the light of the sun, and the sun will be even brighter. So that's, well, brighter is not in a way that it's greater, but we have to see. We have to see what that really means. But it's in connection to that. That's why I wanted to mention it. So I hope that give you some clarity, not too much confusion, but understand that at the end of the day, we have to create more unity within our couples, within our society, within our world and our relationship with God. And if we can do that, if we can find our mission and know why we're here for, and use our strength properly, not in order to put others down, but to make ourselves greater than ourselves. That our, right, being female in ourselves is bringing the potential into reality of who I am. So I need my female to become, so the wife helps, but at the end, it's what I put into action within myself that awakens also my female, that makes me complete and make me grow. So I need the other to be greater, right? Jews need the non-Jews to be greater. Non-Jews need the Jews to be greater. God needs the creation to be greater. Creation needs God to be greater. Because you could have just God. But now that there's God and creation, it makes God even greater. Why greater? Not greater in the sense that he couldn't be greater before. In the sense that it's more magnificent. Creation made God become even more of a king, right? God couldn't have the title of a king. You can't have a king without its people. So in a way, it's the expansion of God's greatness, right? So in that sense, we make him greater. Obviously, God doesn't need anything. It's a bonus, if we can say, bonus for us, bonus for him. Men makes women greater, women makes men greater. Parents need make kids greater, kids makes parents greater. Day makes nights greater, night makes days greater. We have the contrast. And if you only day, you wouldn't appreciate day as much. Same thing with night. Spirituality makes physicality greater. It actually elevates it, and physicality enables spirituality to become greater by infusing the physical. The brain, it makes the heart greater, and the heart makes the brain greater, more healthy at least. The right hand helps the left hand is right hand. We hold something with two hands much stronger. So I think if we understand we all need each other, and right, then we can achieve a level of love and unity, and that's what we're missing. We're all fighting, we're all hurt, we're all in a traumatic love pain, and we need to learn to unite again and live a life of true unity, true harmony. And God willing, we will be ready for the end of time to become one with what God has planned for us. Baruch Adonai l'olam, amen v'amen.